Hi, Michael. We'll give it a couple of minutes for others to join. How are you doing, Michael? Okay, we'll just give it another minute and then see if any others are able to join. I think we had 7 people that RSVP'd for this, but if they don't join, then it's a private webinar for you, Michael. Michael, put in chat, what did you find most interesting about our last webinar? And is there anything in particular you'd like to learn from today's? Oh, my question was there anything that you learned last webinar that you'd like me to go into better detail? And then what do you hope to learn today? Okay, we're going to get started. This webinar will be recorded. So you can go back and listen to it. If there's anything that we go over and you'd like additional questions, you're welcome to either send me a text message, DM, or an email. So let's get started. With Artemis, we are doing a webinar series of the 3 pillars of launch success. So my name is Stacy Krizan. I am a launch coach and consultant, and I also run a treatment business in Somerset County, New Jersey, called Cryocontouring Studios. Now, last week we talked about the first pillar, which was people, which is my favorite topic because although you might think you're the business owner and you have such great passion about starting the business, you cannot do any business without customers, advocates, staff, or people. So that webinar, I do believe you got to listen to, and hopefully got the recording. So if you need to catch up, you can get the recording from Artemis. So today's conversation is around process. Like I said, my name is Stacey Krizan. I am a provider that does treatments as well as runs a treatment business. I'm doing an online school in the platform of school, and it is currently free. Feel free to shoot a request to opt in on that link. And I also do coaching and consulting services to help businesses benefit from some of my learnings and insight. Being proactive versus reactive. So once you start this business and you have great passion and great strategy and vision, it's very busy. And so what I'm trying to do with these series of webinars is to teach you how to be proactive about building the business with intent rather than just being reactive to just handle issues and move forward. The best indicator of long-term success is really how you start. The quality of your activities in your pre-launch before you even launch is really the indicator of how you're going to have ease of success and enjoyment later on. If you proactively build a strong foundation with very careful attention to these three foundational pillars, I believe, and I've witnessed, that your revenue will be greater sooner and your work life will be enjoyable. So with that, I'd like to share with you my vision or the way I see this business in the three pillars prior to launch success. The first being people, the second being process, and the third is around how you promote your services. So let's flash back to January 2023. I decided I wanted to launch a treatment business for the sole purpose of teaching others who are watching my experience. I, having had experience in brand management as well as in different roles within the spa, wellness, and pharmaceutical industry, have decided to take that insight and to show you through a pilot by launching the services and the advice that I give to others here in person in Somerset County, New Jersey. Start with people, the process, and that will get you to a sustainable launch success. So the people, process, promote. Please do this from left to right. Many people get the idea and decide that they are really excited about all the things they're going to do, and they jump right to promoting. And I want to tell you that that is really short term. The longer you can withhold the reward of dollars and build the process with stronger foundation of people and process, you'll have greater revenue, and the promotion will make more sense. So let's start from left to right. Last week, we did the people aspect, developing your greatest assets. And this week, we're going to talk about process. How do you build and curate proactively an incredible, amazing client experience with a defined process? Then next webinar, next week, we will talk about promoting and how do you educate your audience around the problem you solve and the services you offer. So to focus on the process, we're going to talk about your prospects and clients' experience. Through the process that you're creating, your clients will have a brand experience, and it'll be proactively curated and it will be predictable. So that way you don't have to wonder if somebody else is in your business or if there's a new client, they will all experience your business and your experience exactly the same way, curated for your ideal client audience. So I'm going to go into greater detail on the pricing that you're going to create on your booking site, how to generate and capture interest, which is really a lead, the consultation approach, making sure you have the right solution for the right problem. We'll discuss the process of capturing the before and after photos, making sure that you're able to build towards positive testimonials and positive reviews, but also to get feedback because you're always looking to improve. And then staff treatments and demonstrations. How do you keep your staff learning and growing and stay connected in the business? So first off, we're going to start with pricing. So when you add a new service, and you probably already have a booking website or some sort of calendar option with your spa software, I want you to think about the process in which you're going to meet clients. So if you're meeting a client online, how are they going to schedule their appointment? So if you look here, I have a couple of different options. I consider the option of a consultation. So do you collect a deposit or not take a deposit? Do you take a credit card on file or not? although your initial process might change over time, it's important that you think through these decisions and continuously evaluate if it's working or not working. Also consider, are there different types of treatment experiences? For example, if you're adding cryoskin or neve skin or any kind of contouring of the body and face, it might be helpful to know if this prospect or lead is coming in for a consultation for a face or body. It's really important to keep it very specific. Sometimes they just will say to you on via text, I'd like, everything to be treated. Give me the whole experience. But it's really important that you narrow down what's of greatest urgency for them, because that way you can focus your consultation on a single laser focus of improvement. And then consider the things you're going to add on. So if they're coming in for a consultation and then you get them a treatment discussion, what are you down the road are you going to offer as upsells or extra value? Keep in mind, these are things that are going to change, but I just want you to think about them at the onset, because you probably also have additional services in your business. For example, many of our contouring businesses also offer like infrared sauna or full body cryo or local cryo. They might have some sort of compression therapy. Many of them are estheticians or massage therapists, so they're able to offer those types of services in conjunction with their contouring. And then think about the process of events, because not only do you have one-on-one appointments, but you also might be doing events where you do want to capture the activity to make sure that you don't forget that while you're also doing treatments in person, you're also meeting people on, at events, and therefore able doing demonstrations or maybe even express or full treatments. So when you're proactively creating this experience, you got the appointments types already figured out. But now how do you get them onto your calendar? So the images here represent the top one being a frustrated mom who is just so fatigued because she's juggling work, life, family, and just run down by it all. Your goal is to get them from their real life at home, either in front of their TV or at their phone or at their office, probably through either these two images below are either your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Google search, some mechanism in which you're reaching them to their phone or to their interest, wherever they're searching, and you're able to get them in person. Keep in mind that when you get them in person, that you're also getting their contact information. So although it's very tempting to just keep the conversations in your DMs, if they're not actually giving your contact information, you're probably going to lose sight of that interaction. There's so much that goes on in our phones, right? There's personal interactions. There's logistics with kids. There's the work responsibilities. You're going to lose sight of the fact that somebody on Sunday at 3 p.m. sent you a text saying, please help me, I'm struggling with my body problems, right? So make sure you're able to capture that interest through a lead capture. Usually the lead capture is something that asks for their name, their cell phone, their email, and potentially a place where you can find out what it is they're interested in. Then you get them on your schedule. Remember those three options that we said before? You can get them on with a consultation with a deposit or not. You can get them for an appointment for a treatment that you already discussed. So now you're in an appointment with them. And you have to think about how are you going to identify what problem they have and if you have the right solution. So here are some images of our staff doing a consultation with some of our prospects who later became clients. You can see we're looking at our phone. So on our phone or in a booklet or some flyers, have some sort of visual aid to show them some of the results that you're providing for other clients or other examples of people that are like them, have had similar problems, and that they have found your problems and your solutions to be of value to them. Are you able to see my screen? Okay, I'm having a problem with that slide. Okay, so when you're making a recommendation for your clients, be sure you're making the right recommendations. If they come to you and they say they have a problem that warrants a package of many treatments, do not let them get less than that. The reason is they came to you to solve a problem, and if you're recommending a subpar solution to their very valuable problem, you're actually doing a disservice. Most business owners think they're doing something of value, right? They're giving them a discount. They're saying, oh, you probably will benefit from 10 or 15 treatments, but let's just do one. I mean, the client just told you that they'd like to make major significant changes in their body. Do not sell them a single session. Make sure you're confident enough in the services that you offer that you make the right suggestion. And then make sure the process fits that solution. So if it's 10 treatments, go ahead and schedule those 10 appointments. Don't wait. Don't say, we're going to do this one treatment, then reach them in a week and schedule number 2 and wait a week and schedule number 3. Nope. You discussed a solution that warrants 10 weeks. So I proactively make sure that I go through all of the course of the treatment, and we get that recurring appointment on the schedule as soon as they decide that this is a problem that they want to resolve. Now, the most important part, and I want to tell you why this is important, is your photos. So the reason that this is important, because nobody, and I'm saying me as well as you, nobody would believe the changes that are happening in themselves if they didn't have a photo. Even if they've lost inches, even if they went shopping and bought pants and clothes that were 2, 3 sizes smaller, they will still psychologically say they don't really see or they don't know what the changes are. I require that my staff do before and after photos before every single treatment and after every single treatment. Meaning, if they come in for a demonstration, they get 2 sets of photos. The demonstration before the demonstration or the treatment consultation, after the treatment, 45 or 1 hour later. The reason is because you can't go back and drop in photos, right? You can certainly skip photos when you look back, but you can't go back in time and say, oh, I wish I got a photo at treatment number 3 or after treatment number 4. So it's better to have more photos than less. Also, it creates a process that the clients really look forward to. It gets to the point sometimes where they stand there waiting for you to take their photos and you're not even ready because you're looking at your phone trying to schedule appointments. They're like, okay, I'm ready for my photos. It's part of their experience. They take it seriously when you take it seriously. So if you consciously have this step, all right, we meet, greet, we assess the problem, we take photos. During that photo process, you could see I'm showing you images where I'm actually taking the photos. It gives you an opportunity to have a conversation. This is the area we're treating. Have you noticed any changes in the last week? It looks amazing how your pants are fitting differently. I always tell them, remember these undergarments and usually the sports bra or the bra. Remember the type of garments you're wearing because I'd like you to wear similar ones every single week. It is amazing to see the way the body changes under the same style undergarments. And it makes your photos more credible and trustworthy because they remember every time they're coming in for a treatment, I have to wear the same style, swimsuit, tank top, sports bra, shorts, whatever it may be. And they take their treatments a little bit more seriously. It's not just the physical aspect of doing the photos, it's also the conversation. So we don't just take photos, turn, snap, 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 sit down, treatment. No, we talk about it. Have you noticed any differences, right? Have your pants been fitting different? Did anybody say anything? And we celebrate it. Wow, look at you. We always tell them how fantastic they look, how great they're doing. And we ask them, what are some of the changes that were more difficult to make to keep their results and to help leverage? And so we always use this time, probably about 5 minutes before the treatment and 5 minutes after, to connect with them on how things are going. The 6 days that they're not with us, or the 13 days or the 2 days that we have not seen them since our last time. And you can see this photo on the left here. This is the facial client, and we're actually do one side of the face. We have her sit up and look in the mirror, and then she gets to tell us what she sees in 20 minutes or in a 10-minute one side treatment. And she then asks us to make sure her other side is even. So I really recommend that because it adds a lot of trust in the process as well. Like they get to tell you what they see and where they hope you continue to really put extra emphasis on going down the road with the rest of their treatments. Proactively curate this amazing experience because you want and do it with intent that you're going to see a testimonial and reviews. That's scalable. When somebody says something really positive and they publicly post it somewhere, your future prospects are going to go looking for that. They Google you. They go to your social pages. They see, hey, is anybody giving them a shout out? Let's see some of their before and after photos. This is really, really important because if you plan with testimonials and reviews as the outcome, you're going to have a process that you're always working towards what they're going to say and how they're going to feel. And do take a testimonial. So here you see somebody doing a live testimonial where we have a recording and we ask her some questions. But I actually have on my phone many voice testimonials. So there's a feature on the iPhone called Voice Memo. I usually, after the first treatment, maybe midway through their package of 10, and then definitely at the 10th treatment, or maybe the appointment after their 10th treatment, I hit record and I just have a conversation, something along the lines of this. Hey, so can you tell me how we met? Well, and their answer is usually something along the lines of, I saw something on social media, it was intriguing, or I filled out this form for an ad, or my friend of a friend told me about this. So that way you learn where they came from. Their second question is along the lines of, what were you looking for? How did you find us? What were some of the problems that you were looking to get resolved? Why did you decide now is a great time to get this problem resolved? What other things have you looked for? What things did you try that didn't work? Tell me now about how it was during your experience. What was it like coming to us? How often did you come? How did you feel? Who would you recommend these treatments to? So my testimonials are actually, I could just call it a client conversation that usually becomes a testimonial. And the idea is that I'm recording this conversation because it's the same outline in this conversation that will guide me in my future consultations. It's the same conversation. The only difference is they've actually had treatments versus wanting your treatments. Staff, treatments, and demonstrations. So, this is something that seems so obvious. When we first started, people are usually so excited about adding this treatment and being able to do unlimited free treatments on themselves, to be able to gift whoever is important in their life, the joy and the celebration of looking amazing, right? But then you get so busy running this business that you forget to be a client of your business. You forget that you should connect with your staff to see if they're executing the treatments the way you envisioned, or that you're learning from them because you started this business, but maybe they're the ones that are seeing clients day in and day out, and they might have additional ideas or they've made some improvements on their treatment experience. So I highly recommend that you make it a conscious effort to schedule your own treatments and do it on like rotate of your staff, meaning you get to be a client of one person, then the next week they're a client of yours, or you rotate through your staff to make sure that you're gifting each of them a relaxation treatment by you as well as them for you. It's a really great way to also share some conversations and some tips. So I use our staff treatments as a way to make them feel like their wellness is important to me, but also I use it as an opportunity to reinforce and teach them, kind of go back to the basics, because as you do lots of treatments, it can be tempting to go off script and to maybe sometimes take some shortcuts or to get maybe a little bit lackadaisical about certain things. So I use these treatments where I do the treatments on my staff and I go back to training them how I would do it if I was still treating all of my clients. So we went through the booking, we went through capturing interest, we went through the consultation outline, making sure you're recommending the right solution for the right problem. Don't under on promise and over, I mean, sorry, do under promise and over deliver. Never do the opposite. Work really hard to earn that business. Have a really nice, consistent photo process, whether you're using some software or you're doing on your phone. Just make sure you think through that process pretty deliberately. Work towards great testimonials and reviews and capture their feedback along the way. Don't wait to treatment number 10 to ask them how it's going. Ask them at treatment 1, treatment 2, treatment 3. And as you get really good at getting testimonials and having these client discussions, that's when you'll be able to scale it and then to be able maybe to just put it a little bit more on autopilot. And reviews. Are you asking for reviews after your treatment experience? And staff treatments and demonstrations. Make sure you're doing these, whether you're doing it inside of your business or on the road or during client interactions with maybe you're doing development of staff with some of your higher value clients. Be creative in how you're making sure that your staff are continuing to learn, but also to stay engaged with the business. And with that, I'm actually going to turn it back over. I'm going to open it up for questions because what I went through is a lot of detail. And I'm sure you're going to have more specific questions that we can discuss in some of these areas. So with that, would you like to, Michael, I know you're on, would you like to either type your questions or unmute? Okay, go ahead. Which area do you have more questions on that you'd like to have more details? Okay, so you'd like to know more about when to get credit card info and a deposit up front. Okay, so first, can I ask you a couple questions? Do you currently are you launching Cryskin inside of a business that you already have, or are you going out with this first? Give me a little insight as to what your current process is. Okay, this is fantastic information. Okay, so do you already have a booking site and a location? Okay, so when you say your website is under construction, are you referring to your website that promotes and educates on your services that also includes your appointment scheduling, or are they separate? Some people use a scheduler independent of a website. So for example, some people will use some sort of calendar service like MindBody, but then have a separate website. I'm curious just to make sure that when you say your website's under construction, I want to make sure that you're able to schedule like 10 appointments per client. All right, so booking widgets. So you have a separate scheduler, correct? Okay, fantastic. Um, it depends how you want to go about your business. So I'll give you a little bit example of how I did mine. So when I first launched, January 2023, we did not take deposit, nor we did not take credit card. Meaning we didn't take credit card on file. We did consultations, and we had people book it with the desire to learn about the problem they have, and usually a discount like a $50 off your first treatment. So when I first launched, I want to say it was about a year that I did that with no deposit. And the reason I did that was intentional because I wanted to hear some of the problems of my audience. I wanted to learn why they came to us, where they came from, before just rejecting them because they didn't give a credit card. Now, the upside of collecting a credit card is that you're going to get probably higher quality leads, meaning you're going to probably get rid of the or you won't even know the people that don't book without a deposit or a credit card, because you're going to get rid of the lower quality folks. But you're going to get less volume. And so for me, when I was launching, I thought it was really important to kind of learn before you know, I guess took up the value and made sure. So we did a high volume of free consultations and demonstrations where there was probably no money taken. But when we did convert a consultation to a paid package, it was $3,000, or in the case of a facial client, it was 1,000 or almost $2,000. So that's what we did when we first launched. When we started to do paid advertising about 6 months after launching. So the first 6 months, we started with just organic marketing, like events, demonstrations in person, and virtual events, and lots of just referral activity and connecting in the community. 6 months of that, and then we did paid advertising. Our paid ads did get a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but we did get a fair number of no-shows, as well as people that just made appointments and then just kept moving them. This year, we actually moved to a deposit, and we actually have a $75 deposit that is refundable should you come in on your appointment and then decide you don't want to do the treatment. And we apply that deposit either to your first treatment or your package that you purchase. And if you decide this is not the right time for you after having the consultation, we refund you the $75. So that's the way we did it. So I would say that either way is fine. It really depends what you're trying to accomplish with your business. Does that help you? Great. What other questions do you have, Michael? Which way do you think you're going to do? Do you think you'd like to start out with a deposit? Did I have stored credit card info? Um, do I currently store it? No, I only store it for the memberships, and I honestly don't have a ton of memberships. I really do more packages. And in that case, they're prepaying for their package. So no, I don't, most of the time, I don't keep their credit card on file. And at this time, I'm not really trying to push the memberships because, I find that it's more productive to get clients to do the consultation and then move to a contouring package of, you know, um, 10 weeks. Either they come twice a week or they come every other week or they come once a week for 10 weeks. I find that that's really a greater experience for my staff as well as my clients, that they're on some sort of journey to a finite end versus the memberships. I personally don't, I'm not, our business is not there yet in terms of wanting to move to complete just memberships. But yeah, if you're going to do a membership program, then absolutely, you're going to want to have your credit card on file. I would say that when I talk to a lot of other business owners in this industry, they more often do the credit card on file versus a deposit. And the reason being is, in that conversation you're having with somebody, about booking the consultation and you take the credit card, then you're able to say, I have your credit card on file. I look forward to seeing you. And then when they try to cancel like 1 hour in advance or something short of 24 hours cancellation policy, you're able to say, don't worry about your appointment. I have your credit card on file and I'll go ahead and charge your no-show fee of whatever your cost is. And then they're usually more interested in either moving their appointment or maybe it's really important that they just pay the $30 or $75 and that they're able to just come back at another time. But I would, just qualitatively, obviously I didn't survey everyone, but I would say that majority of the people go that route. I have chosen the opposite, like not the opposite. I've chosen to go from, I guess, the low barrier to entry onto my schedule, which is no deposit. And now I'm at a pretty hard to entry on my schedule, which is a $75 deposit. What other questions do you have, Michael? If I were to give you advice, since you're just starting out, I will tell you the most difficult part for you and your staff to learn is this part. Getting people from their computers and conversations online to becoming a in-person appointment. That is going to be the most difficult. And the reason it's difficult is because you kind of hear crickets when you're doing this type of activity, and people business owners might get what sounds kind of desperate to get people in person. So what I would say is just make sure that your interactions when you're upfront talking to people, trying to get them on your schedule, that instead of promoting your services, focus on their problem. So, these people here, I'm showing you the woman that's sitting there holding her baby and she's got a computer in front of her. I want you to, if that's not your target audience, think about your target audience and where they are when they're seeing your messages, and really focus like on that problem. So when I'm scrolling through social media and I'm seeing a lot of people's conversations or posts on social media, they're always a little spammy. They're generally like, oh, you need to come into my spa. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's this. It's about them. And I will tell you that what's more effective about, instead of promoting how awesome your business or awesome your staff is or how great your solution is, if you can understand your very specific type of client's problem, they're going to trust you more and they're going to resonate greater with whatever you say later. So although it sounds kind of tempting to be like, oh, we have a solution for that. You want to lose 3 inches. You want to do this. Instead, shift your staff's focus on what is it you're struggling with? How come you didn't get that resolved? What did you look for? Why are you interested in what we offer? Keep it all about them. And they will understand that you're a trusted advisor versus somebody who's just pushing services. And it will definitely differentiate you and your staff. And this is the part that I really love. If you understand somebody really, really well, the smaller your ideal client profile is, and the more you understand them, it's a lot more sincere to give them a solution that's really for them, rather than just, everybody gets to lose a half an inch in their first treatment and everybody goes down a couple of sizes. Like that's so generic and so, I would say, cold versus, you know resonating with somebody's very, very intimate, insecure problem. Is that helpful? What other things could you, since you have my undivided attention here, what other things are you looking for insight on as you prepare for your launch? Okay, what kind of question about booking? You book the complete treatment plan. Okay, this is a great question. So it just follows on to what we were saying before. So if somebody, so the client here, the woman that's sitting at her desk, juggling work, family, career, baby, and her own priorities and her own stress level. And she comes to you and she says that, she's been struggling with this area. She's middle-aged and her stomach has just gotten unresponsive to anything she does, right? And so you, from your experience, recommend that she get a 10-pack of body treatments, right? Right then, instead of saying this, so most people would say, this is, I would say, the easiest route, and it's more common. People would say, oh, we can absolutely treat you. I can probably almost guarantee, because so many of my clients lose this, that you'll be down X inches in X time, and it's going to cost you X dollars. And so when do you want to get started? That's so common. And what I want to tell you is, instead of trying to get them to say, yes, here's my money, yes, I want to do these treatments, just make it part of the process. So, for example, if a client's coming in like that and you decide it's 10 treatments, I usually say, look, my clients really have fantastic results that you're looking for. Here are some photos, or here's an example. I have a photo on the front on my door of a woman who made a major transformation in 10 weeks. And so that way they trust the process. And then you say, does this time work for you every week? So if it is Monday at 2 o'clock, for the next 10 weeks, I'm going to put you in my schedule for 10 a.m. or sorry, 2 p.m. on Monday, and you and I will text a day or two in advance, and we'll move the appointment plus or minus an hour or plus or minus a couple of days. But we're going to make sure it's our priority to keep you super vigilant about your treatment cadence. You're going to come at this regular time, 72 hours after your treatment. We're going to talk about your lymphatic efficiency treatments that you could do to make sure you're keeping your lymphatic system, going. And how would you like to pay? Not, do you want to pay? How would you like to cover this? We take cash, check, Venmo, and credit card. What works for you? Rather than saying, it's going to be $3,000. Do you want this? No. How would you like to cover your next treatments? And then they say, well, how much is it? And we say, for 10 treatments, and then we say, for 10 treatments, when you prepay for 10 treatments, which is the recommendation that we have for you, it is 300 times 10. Should you want to do less, the price per session goes up. For example, our single treatment is 425. A treatment of 5 is 350 times 5. And a course of a 10 treatments, which is the recommendation that we have for you, it's 300 times 10. So then it doesn't sound like $3,000 or $1,700, or they're actually thinking about the cost savings over the time. And when you break it down like that, there are so many things that people spend $300 for that are, that are of value. You're in this case, you're getting a body contouring treatment that's probably double the cost of a massage, hypothetically. So in that case, from a perspective, a point of view, it's obviously valuable because this is a massage that you're getting contoured in, right? So just think about the way you're communicating that. Don't say it's, this amount of money and we can put this on your credit card. And do you have your credit card? Do you want me to take it? No, just this is how it goes. You can choose the payment. Does that help? And it's a lot easier then, right? To just say 300 or 350 times 5 versus saying it's 3,000 and the dollars. I mean, they can do the math. I always, 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 without exception, get those 10 appointments on the schedule. The reason is you'd be shocked at how quickly a couple of days go by and you're like, oh my goodness, now I'm at week 3 and I didn't get, week 4's on the schedule. It's really, really important. And it makes them feel really important because they're thinking, okay, just like I schedule my personal trainer, just like I schedule my important, weekly staff meeting, whatever it is, it's like, this is really important. I'm investing in myself. I'm going to carve an hour weekly for this. Your comment, I would have done the common way. Yes, everyone does that common way because it's just the way, it's just kind of the way that, I guess people just go about it. But I will tell you that when you start to get objections around the cost and the time and the commitment, and you realize they don't actually value what it is you offer. So talk about what you're offering rather than the actual logistics of it, right? Or the dollars of it. It will take some practice. So the only way I can tell you to get practice is just do lots of iterations. And I mean it. You're going to fumble, your staff's going to fumble, but the more you do iterations, like repetitions when you go to the gym or practice when you're learning some new activity, you just have to do lots of repetitions. And so, I like to create repetitions in safe environments, meaning, and then I like to put them in, higher risk situations. So that way they feel like they're able to learn it in a, kind of like when it matters. So for example, a safe environment might be like role playing with your staff, maybe inviting some of your friends and family to your consultation so that we can work out these kinks, have them plant some seeds with them to tell you these questions to trip you and your staff up. And the more you do something, the more you're able to make it objective and you're able to see these trends. Because if you only do 1 or 2, then it becomes so super emotional, like you get rejected or you feel a little bit insecure. But when you do 10, 20, 100 of these iterations, you're like, okay, in 30% of them, I did this and it worked. In 50% of them, I felt less awkward. So then you're able to see more trends and be objective about it. Any other questions? None? You have a whole 11 minutes. Go ahead. What questions? Are you typing? I'm told the training day for the staff is day one. You mean one day or day one start? Oh, okay. So when you say day two is when we have actual customers coming in. Okay. So you're probably doing the launch program with Neefskin, right? Where they train you, meaning that, we call it training, but it's actually your certification training. And then day two is your launch event that the Artemis staff is probably helping you generate clients from, right? Yeah, I see. You're doing the Elevate thing. Yeah, so I just want you to know that the first day, although it's called training, it's actually certification training, right? So it is where you're able to learn with the Artemis staff the technique. But I would say I actually think of it as day one of training, meaning you're going to get certified, but then training is like on the job training happens right after that. So those first customers, any tips for those first customers? What kind of tips are you looking for? My assumption is that you mean that there are people booked on your Elevate launch day, which is the second day that Artemis training is at your facility. So you're probably wondering, how do we get all of them to convert, right? I mean, so Artemis has someone doing great. Okay. So the idea is the Artemis training and the sales department will probably do your consultations for you so you can be kind of like a fly on the wall and learn from them. So I would absolutely take advantage of that. They're experts in this. And try to learn while they're there. So meaning if you have 10 consultations hypothetically booked for your Elevate day, maybe lead some of those consultations and allow the Artemis staff to kind of do not damage control, but maybe intervene a bit and help leverage or to just help with those consultations. So I would tell you that the best way to learn is by doing with some supervision. So you may never have this environment again where an expert is in the room to teach you while you're having somebody on the table. So although they are willing to do all the work in the consultation, it's more important that you're able to do this when they leave. So as the day goes on, roll up your sleeves and do some of those consultations. If you have somebody that you are thinking of putting in this role of doing consultations in your business on day 3, the day Artemis is gone, have them practice with Artemis. And I highly encourage, if you're the business owner, you should also practice doing these consultations because it is the most valuable part of your business is understanding your client's problems. And it's probably the most leveraged asset you can have in your business, right? So I would not, although it's tempting, I would not 100% delegate that to a direct report. I would at least be able to be at par where you're learning with them and teaching each other, because if they own that skill, well, they own something very valuable in your business that you're not learning along with. Does that make sense? I mean, people in this business want to delegate that sales consultation because it's difficult, it's high maintenance, but it really is the most valuable part of your treatment business is understanding the client's problems and getting them from problem to payment. Um, I don't, okay, so that makes good sense. I don't want to delegate anytime soon. Okay, so just be careful about the delegation, right? So meaning I would say it's probably a give and take. So no, you don't want to delegate 100%, but you also are not going to be able to do this forever all completely on your own. So you're probably better to get buy-in if you're able to do it collaboratively, meaning the person that you're bringing on board, they're inspired by your vision. They're coming on pretty early when this business is brand new. So do invest in them, but also don't delegate 100%, right? Um, or maybe do, but just make sure that you're learning along through their experience. I guess that's my thought is just you want to, it's not that you delegate or not delegate, it's just that you should learn. And you should stay in touch with what they're learning through their consultations. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with you. I think we both meant the similar thing where it's not okay. What kind of packages? Okay, at the first customers, what kind of package? Okay, so generally speaking, and I could say this now, having been in this industry for quite some time, I think it's been about 6 years or so, 6.5 years. Generally speaking, 5 treatments is the bare minimum for people to make sustainable changes. And by bare minimum, I mean, do not think 80% of your treatments should be 5 packs. 80% of your treatments should probably be a 10 pack. Reason being is that people don't want changes that are like, oh, I could just lose 1 inch. Most people are spending this kind of money and investment because they want significant change. So, in order to make it valuable for them, they should go for a 10 treatments. Especially since most of America, I mean, let's be honest, we're not, most people are not only 1 or 2 inches more than they should be, right? I mean, most people, if they go to their doctor, the doctor in their annual visits, I mean, if they live in America, are, you know, more than five treatments is what they're looking for. So in order to reach a cadence of, half or more of your clients getting a 10 pack, you're going to have to get comfortable giving them the solution of a 15 or 20 pack. So right out of the gate, don't go like single session, 5 session, 10 sessions. Go right for I recommend for a client that is this gets a 15 or 20 pack. And then you're able to go down from there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do not try to go upwards. It's so much easier to work down. It's hard to go from a single session to a 5 session to a 10 session. Instead, tell them what 20 sessions looks like and what you think they would achieve in 20 treatments or 15 treatments, and then 10 being the right sized. So if, for example, if you think, most people are like, you give it 1, 2, or 3, you give 3 options, and they usually choose the middle option. So the middle option should be the one you want to land on. So it's a 10 pack. To build before and after portfolios. So when you're first starting, use the portfolios that are on the My Artemis or from other providers and give them credit. Say, oh, look at this fantastic photo of, I don't know, Stacy's client out in New Jersey. We're so excited to have clients that have similar feedback and transformations. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I would not show somebody else's photos though and claim it as yours. Just be very transparent in that. I'm very concerned that a new business will not want to purchase 10. Sound lack of confidence. I can tell you clients are out there that it's not that they want 10, they want the results of 10. Don't think of it as dollars. Don't think of it as quantity. Think of it as going from point A to point B in 3 months. These are the results that these clients want. And so therefore, that's what you're interested in achieving. Client, This is the first. Oh, you're the first Krizan and Niskin in the area? Well, that's a no-brainer. Go for higher value. Absolutely. Don't undervalue yourself coming out of the gate. I have people that, I'm in an area that has probably like a dozen providers within maybe 15 minutes in the circle around me. And then I also have people that drive an hour. I mean, most of my people are within 20-minute drive, but they have options. They could go, just because you're the first Kreiskin or Neefskin in the area, there's other options that are competing. Like, for example, the lack of awareness. There's cool sculpting, there's surgery, there's some other, non-invasive things. There's so many other background noise, and people want to know that their options are non-invasive, that they could feel good, that they don't need any downtime, that there's less risks with like not needing to do anesthesia, that they can go about their day doing these treatments and then get right to the office and not have to do any explanations about like any awkwardness. So, just I tend to think that your only competition is really the lack of awareness that exists in your market. Don't think of these other people as your competition, because there's so much potential in clients that could get these treatments versus competing with clients that can choose the different treatments. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is a growth market, so don't compete on market share is what I'm saying. Focus on treating the unmet problem, which is people want to feel better, look good, and they don't want downtime, and they don't want to be in pain. They don't want the risks. And they just, I mean, I know personally that doing Krebs makes you feel great, that, you usually are slimmer and toner right away just because of the nature of the non-invasive treatment, and that it's cold. And that if you feel good immediately, you're likely to make some significant changes right away in your terrible habits of lifestyle and nutrition and working out. Okay, that went really fast. So it's 2:02. Do you have any last questions that I can answer before we say goodbye? Well, you're welcome. Good luck to you. And I'm sure your big event and your elevated experience will be amazing. So I hope you enjoy this business as much as I do. And I'm sure you have the information. So hopefully I will see you next week.